All right, so we want to give our viewers an update. Just tell me your first, last name, spell it for me, and who you're with.
My name is Logan Anderson, Logananderson, and I am the Texas Senior Communications Strategist for CenterPoint Energy.
Now, CenterPoint Energy has been working around the clock. Tell me a little bit about where crews are today and what that restoration process is looking like.
Crews are all across our service center, which services 2.8 million customers across the greater Houston area. We have dispatched crews to every area that we are continuing to see outages because not only do we need to continue to inspect to get a real feel for the level of damage on our system, but we also got to restore and get people back on and power up the city. So our crews have been all out today, and right behind me, what you can see, crews just finished replacing a distribution pole that was damaged. We have had a lot of damaged distribution poles across the city, and so before we can restore power to neighborhoods, we have to make sure that we can restore power on a circuit level, and that involves these kind of repairs like people are doing right behind us now.
So once those are fixed, then they can start returning power to everyone's homes who's still without.
Yes. And the way the power is restored is that we restore power to the largest number of people first. So if we have a transformer that serves 500 people or a transformer that serves 5 people, we're going to repair the transformer that serves 500 people first. It does not mean that the neighborhood with 5 people is at any measure less important. It is just that we are trying to get as many Houstonians back on the grid as we can.
Now, I know we had a lot of power outages from Thursday to now. How much has been restored? Do we have an estimate of a percentage or a number?
Yeah, so as of this morning, more than 400,000 customers had been restored. And throughout the city of Houston, 2.3 million of our customers are currently connected, which is 82% of our total customer base. But we are still working. We understand that it is very hot and it is very hard to be without power for those of us like me. I live in the North Shore Galena Park area and my power has not been restored yet. And so I'm with everyone. I understand how frustrating it is, and I just want people to know that we are working around the clock as hard as we possibly can to get as many people restored as quickly and as safely as possible.
Have we had extra crews come in from either other states or other parts of Texas to lend a helping hand?
We have, and it's been really remarkable to see the mutual assistance efforts that we've had. We have had crews come in to help out. I believe that we have had 4,000 crews, 4,000 additional line workers requested and 1,000 additional vegetation management workers requested. And as far as I'm aware, the last update that I saw, more than 2,000 of those people had already come in overnight and hit the ground running, helping us get our repairs off.
Now, when can we expect to hopefully all of the CenterPoint customers in the Houston area? I know that's a large amount of number, but is there a goal by a certain day? Like you mentioned, it's hot out here today. I'm sweating right now.
I know, I'm sweating too. So the goal is, and the goal that we are marching towards, is to have all customers who are able to receive power restored by the end of day Wednesday. That I know is further out than people would hope, but it is the goal that we are aiming towards. And I think that we're seeing a lot of extensive damage on a level that, as we continue to investigate, we're learning more and more. So I want to caution people, know that we are communicating as much information as we have, and if you're not hearing from us, it is not because we are trying to withhold information. It's because we want to make sure that when we communicate with you, we tell you exactly what we know in the way that we know it. So we want to really stress the importance to people of having a plan, making sure that if you rely on electricity for life-saving, if you rely on electricity to power life-saving equipment, that you are registered as a critical care customer with us, and that people continue to exercise caution throughout the city. If you see any down power lines, please call 713-207-2222 to report them to CenterPoint, and stay 35 feet away, practice caution. But we are just really hoping to stick with people for as long as we can as we go through this restoration effort.
Is there a chance that some people have to wait beyond Wednesday? And if so, what would be that reason? Because people can get frustrated. This neighborhood has power. I don't. Can you explain to us a little bit for those who maybe they don't get it by Wednesday?
Yeah, so anybody who does not have power by Wednesday, and again, Wednesday is a goal. As we continue to move through, we're learning more and more about the system and the damage that we've seen. But customers who are not able to be restored by Wednesday are going to be customers who either have damage to their own equipment, things like the weatherhead above their home that would need to be repaired by an electrician before we could go in and restore power to them, or customers that are on that are in areas that have experienced damage beyond what we have expected and anticipated, and we're just going to have to go home by home or line by line or pole by pole and make really extensive repairs. But as we find out that information, we will communicate with customers as quickly and as often as possible.
What has been the most challenging part for energy crews in general getting through these neighborhoods and working to restore that power? I'm sure they're coming across a few obstacles.
Honestly, I think that the biggest challenge has just been we are Houstonians, just like everybody else. We live and work in the communities that we are restoring. And so when the city goes through something like this, it is difficult for workers to, pull themselves away from their families and their homes and to devote themselves to restoring the rest of the city. But it is part of the job. It is what we sign up for. And so as first responders, our crews have been out and have been working to address these situations in the communities they live and work in, and just trying to get Houston back on its feet as quickly and as safely as possible.
Now, we've got some questions from our viewers. One asked, do we know which areas will take the longest to restore, or is that a little bit difficult to estimate right now?
So we are continuing to try to gather that information. We're hoping to have more localized and more specific restoration updates soon, but we're still investigating the system in a way that when we share that information, we want to make sure that we're sharing it with all of the information that we need. And so we're still investigating, but we hope to have that information soon.
Still trying to figure out which areas are going to need it, a little bit extra help,
yeah,
a little bit extra equipment. And you're doing that as you're going through
yes,
these neighborhoods
yes.
today. Our retirement communities, are any of them without power? Are we working to get those most vulnerable in our community to make sure that they have power?
So when there is a power outage in any situation, the way that we restore power is first to first responders and areas of critical infrastructure or places we support like the Texas Medical Center that are doing life-saving procedures. And then after that's restored, we go into what we call our critical customer list. And so critical customers are people like the elderly or nursing homes or any home health care facilities or places where people do rely on life-saving equipment that is electrically powered to, live and work each day. And then those are the customers that are restored next. And then from there, we will go through the neighborhood level circuits and restore power to the most people as fast as we can. So those places like nursing homes or areas like daycares should be restored early in the process. And if there are any that do not have power currently, they should try to get in contact with us so that we can get them turned back on as quickly as possible.
Now, the Cypress area, we have a few questions about the Cypress area, one of the hard-hit areas confirmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
There. Any updates for that community out there?
My update for the Cypress area is you guys are living in the same area that we're seeing. So you're seeing all of the damage that our crews are encountering. You're seeing all of the damage to structures and all of the damage to homes that our crews are seeing. We understand that you have been very hardly hit. My hearts go out to everyone in the Cypress community who is dealing with, I can't even imagine the devastating feeling of loss that must be around them at this point. We are continuing to evaluate, we're continuing to investigate. We will have more localized information to share with the Cypress community soon. But in the meantime, just like with everyone else in Houston, our hearts and minds go out to those who are experiencing the challenges that come along with facing a storm like this.
And so just a reminder for those just chiming in, I know we talked about this earlier, Wednesday is the goal to get everybody's power back. For those who can't, can you reiterate to us the difference of can and maybe may take a little bit longer? Why the goal is Wednesday, but some may not get it by Wednesday?
Yes, and when we specifically say our goal of all customers who can receive power, receiving power, we're referring to things like damage to customer-owned equipment like the weatherhead, which customers can evaluate. It's usually, we have more information about it on CenterPointEnergy.com, but your weatherhead is a piece of equipment that's used on your home, and if there is damage to your weatherhead after a storm, an electrician will need to come and make those repairs before we are able to safely return power to your home. This is not out of any caution on our end. It's to make sure that your home is safe, because electricity is something that we do have to practice a lot of caution with as we move through these repairs and restorations.
So if you think that there may be damage to your equipment home, should you go ahead and call CenterPoint. What's your best advice to those people?
The best advice is to call a registered electrician who can evaluate your home and let you know if there are any repairs that will need to be made before power can be safely restored.
Perfect. And then I don't have any other questions. Anything else you feel that you would like to add when it comes to today's continued work? I know people are waiting for their power out here today, walking up and down. Working as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, all I want to stress is that as Houston goes through this, we know that nowhere is stronger than Houston. And the people who are restoring the power are just as Houston strong as the communities that are patiently waiting for us to continue to repair and restore. So we want to thank Houston for sticking with CenterPoint as we go through this process, and hopefully we will have everybody repaired and restored as quickly and as safely as possible.
And for those asking about Humble, Spring Branch, Galena Park, all these areas, you're working to get that detailed information, right? Just kind of want to reiterate.
Yeah, we absolutely. We are working. We are hoping to have more localized information later on today, but we are working to get community-specific updates on times of restoration.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Logan. We appreciate
Thank you. I appreciate you.